Hands
His ankle
from
there,
Nathan,
nice,
big
nice
left
kick.
Here comes Jordan,
Jordan come back with those hands again.
Hey, your boys are back again.
Hello. I've been here twice this weekend.
Ah, yes.
The whole weekend.
I just figured, like, yes, you're correct.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, how's the development day here at the gym yesterday?
That was fun.
It's good. It's been a good couple of years since I've done it.
Really?
Yeah, like, pre-COVID and that.
I thought I remembered it being like 5 minutes ago.
but
But there you go.
there it is.
Oh, there was a junior one, right?
Oh, yeah, you had the
Yeah,
junior
yeah.
one. Yeah. Which is like, that was a good little feeder into this one. But like,
Yeah.
the adults one, man, just, I don't know. I just forget sometimes it gives you a little bit of PTSD at the end of it. especially when someone forgets the gear.
Yeah, that was tricky. But honestly, like, considering all the equipment was forgotten, it ran reasonably smoothly.
Like, he just had some like random bits and pieces lying around and it just made it work. But
Like,
it was good.
it wasn't like the aesthetically the nicest development day in that they weren't wearing like their official kit.
Yes.
But like, it didn't hold the day up that long.
No.
But like, every piece of equipment was forgotten.
Made it work. But yeah, 11-5 was good. I had 3 of my own guys on there. Shushan, Nate, Cam, they all performed really well. I was really happy with all their performances also. And it's looking good. These these novices just coming through getting good experience.
I also liked the 11 fight. Sort of 11 is a very specific number, but like I remember there used to be like one development day like every now and then, and there would be like 30 fights on it.
Yeah.
Like I think if we can hammer out regular development days with slightly less, I mean, like a lot of fights is good for sure, but it's cool that you can make it work with only 11 because it was over and done within 2 hours.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Just save the 20+ cards for pro shows, eh?
Yeah.
Like the one that's going up 1774.
Yeah.
I see you.
Yeah. But I mean, like it was as an official, it's nice to be able to come up and like a bunch of guys get some experience, but it not necessarily be like a whole day thing. Like it was cool.
It's cool. Yeah. I always kind of whinge and moan, and I'm actually a bit of a cunt on the day, actually, to be honest, from that one. I'm probably trying to channel my Psy vibes, especially when things go wrong. I just start grinding my teeth. But like it's actually pretty fun. Yeah, it's a good process. I like doing it, actually.
It was fun. It was a good day.
Yeah. Cool.
But anyway, enough out of us.
Rambling. Because we have a guest online. Okay, so let's introduce her. All right. So she trains out 8 blades. She's a co-founder of JS Muay. She's currently the WBC Australian Bantamweight champ, and she has a world championship for WBC coming up on a belt against Barbara Agua. I think I said that right. but online at the moment with Joanne, the Lioness La. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, that's all right. So look, this is the first time you've been on, and like every guest we had the first time on, we want to know the origin story. Like, what drove you to Muay Thai? Like, what was the beginnings? How did it all start?
Well, I've always really wanted to get into like some martial art, but my mum never really wanted me to do anything in the combat sport, just due to our upbringing and all that. And I guess as I was like growing up and when we hit 18, we started going out heaps, and I knew one day I woke up and I was like, oh, I don't want to live this life anymore. So I made that change and basically typed in Muay Thai, whatever gym popped up. I was like, let's go.
So what's like Muay Thai always just kind of captured your sight, like nothing else really?
Well, the thing was, Chris Nguyen was one of my good friends when I was like a teenager. So he used to always like be like, oh, Joe, just come down to the gym, trial it out. But then I was like, nah, I'm down to just like go out and party instead of training and whatever. So then I think once I had that shift in my mind, I was like, okay, let's get serious. Let's trial it out and see how it goes. And I fell in love with it the first day.
Nice. So when you started training, did it kind of feel natural to you? Like when you just like, as soon as you start doing it, was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Or did it take a while to kind of get your feet underneath you and like, really kind of fall in love with the sport?
Like I've always like, for some reason deep down, I've always really wanted to fight. I was always inspired by like watching like, UFC, and like I thought it was the coolest thing. But of course, like when I first started, I don't think it was a natural thing for me. It was quite hard, and it was really intimidating at first and very overwhelming when it's like a male dominant sport. And I was like lucky to have maybe one or two females in the class to help me out and guide me through it. So I was like really thankful for that. But usually it's you by yourself basically, and with all the guys, but it's okay, it's all good.
Very, very common thing in most Muay Thai gyms. But usually the girls that do stick around from there, like, almost kind of they get become a bit iconic in the scene. Like, you got like Yolanda, Zoe, yourself, Soraya. Like, there's all these ladies that, like, like even the guys, we look up to them because they're like, they just present like such a strong figure in the sport. And like, just kind of be like a bit of a leadership role as well. So how about talk us into like when you first started fighting, like your first fight, like how did that whole experience go down?
I feel like it was like more of like a punch on in the ring.
Nice.
I was just swinging, and like it was messy. If I look back, I felt like I was just throwing mayhems. Like it was not technical at all. But when the bell rings, like it's just like go. Like I don't know why, but when the bell rings for me, I'm like a different person. Like inspiring, I'm never like this. But when I'm in a fight, it's a completely different ball game. I can't explain it, but I'm very aggressive in the ring. But when I'm inspiring with my teammates, I'm never ever going hard. Like I'm just like tap. Like I'm never like throwing at full power.
So what, like the first experience, I guess, in the Melbourne, is it usually like the VAMers? Is that where you got your first experience?
We had the interclubs, so it's like, I guess it's like those development days that you're saying. We go to gyms and stuff like that, and then we build our fights up there, and then I guess it's VAMA, VAMA. But the only problem was like when I was starting off, there wasn't many shows. There were shows, but there was not many females. Fight. So when I transitioned over to amateur, I fought the same girl twice, at the start of the year and at the end of the year. So it was like one of those things where I was waiting for a whole year to get a fight, and then my coach was like, just go pro. There's no point of you waiting. Yeah.
So when you did start a pro from there, what was the kind of pathway that got you to that rebellion scene? Because like it's still kind of really early days in that, but like was rebellions or roots the first part of your pro career?
Yeah, I was actually really fortunate. I was on the first roots card. Yeah. Yeah. So then I built my way up slowly.
Yeah. Predominantly just fighting just on the roots and rebellion, or have you fought around Australia a little bit?
I fought in Perth on Epic before. And I think I fought on Whitney Show, the Muay Thai League, and most of it was in Melbourne though. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a bit of a journey in that you mentioned your first fight was on that inaugural Roots card. You've worked your way up bit by bit all the way to you main evented the 10th anniversary Rebellion show. Now, of course, we'll fight for a world title on Rebellion. I suppose like you've become one of the central names in the kind of Rebellion, representatives on Rebellion of the Victorian Muay Thai scene. But how does it feel now, like thinking back and kind of contrasting having your first professional fight on the Roots card to now being in a world title fight on the Rebellion main card? What's that kind of journey been like?
It feels surreal. Like I was actually like very overwhelmed when I found out the news. I was speechless. Like my manager sat me down, had a coffee with me, and basically said, "Hey, you've got a fight on Rebellion. You've got a title shot." And I just went blank. Like I didn't give him any answer. He's like, "Joe, do you want to fight?" And I was like, I'm just speechless at the moment. I was just very overwhelmed, and I had tears in my eyes actually during that time. So I was like, okay, give me a moment to give you an answer. But I was like, of course, I'll take the opportunity when it comes. So yeah, it was overwhelming.
So of course, recently, earlier in the year, excuse me, you claimed the WBC national title, as you mentioned, up on Muay League over Nakia. So, but it was still quite unexpected when the offer came to get the world title shot. You weren't expecting it.
No, I was not expecting it at all. Like, I was like, I didn't think it was going to be so soon after the Australian belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was something you had your sights on, climbing the ranks and getting to that world title shot.
Yeah, it's always been a dream of mine. So it was always there, but I didn't know when it was going to come, and I didn't think it was going to come this soon. Since like we were like in lockdown for 2 years, I was like, damn, I lost 2 years. And I didn't think like it was going to be so shortly after the whole lockdown opened up to us and stuff like that. And then fighting on the first show in, I think, February. And then now it's been like a full year of fighting. So I didn't think that was like at the start of the year, and then at the end of the year, I get that opportunity.
Yeah. Do you know much about your opponent, Barbara?
I think she's been around for a couple of years.
Yeah.
She's very Thai style. She's from a really good gym.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I know it's going to be a hard fight, and I can't wait for it, because like this is like my time to like showcase like what I've learned in the last 10 years. This is like my moment to like show everyone like what Boy's been teaching me the last couple of months. He's been like planning this for a couple months now. They've known about this fight for ages, but they didn't tell me. So it's like they're like, there's something big coming up at the end of the year, but they didn't tell me. So they were like preparing me and getting me mentally strong, physically strong, just preparing me for this one opportunity. And they didn't tell me why they were pushing me so hard in training. Yeah, so I'm just really excited to fight her, really.
Interesting. So when you say like they kind of maybe knew in the background that this was the plan, and I know this is something that like given your track record size kind of been building towards too, did you know, was it always like, was the plan for you to, if you got, because of course you fought recently on Rebellion and needed to win that one to line yourself up for the world title, I would imagine. Was the plan always Barbara, or was the plan just a world title fight and the opponent came about later on?
To be honest, there was nothing planned. Like I was just taking fights left, right, and center. I'm like, whatever comes. Like I didn't really think anything of it. But I guess Boy and Dom have been doing it behind the scene for me. So they've been like my right hand man. Yeah. They've been like looking after me from behind and pushing me towards that without me knowing.
Yeah. And given that you have fought so much of your career at home in Melbourne, do you keep a close watch of the other kind of highly ranked girls globally? Because it's interesting when sort of you are sort of such a regular on Rebellion, and now your status has come up so much that elite level girls being brought in from all over. Yeah, how much do you watch of girls elsewhere in the world, or do you kind of just focus on yourself?
No, I watch fights like nearly every day. So I'm like studying. Like if it's not girls that I'm fighting, it's like, one champion, just anyone that is in the scene that has a nice, beautiful technique. I'm always watching their style. How can I implement this in my own training? Our Boy will send me videos to watch. Like it's always like a ongoing, like you have to study to get better, or you have to get better with your fight IQ, or
that's a great attitude. And so you mentioned Boy and Dom a few times, of course, incredible trainers, and A-Blade a great gym. Talk to us a little bit, if you will, about kind of how you work with both of them, what the dynamic is between you and your trainers, and a little bit of like, suppose, what a day of training looks like for you.
Dom manages basically all our paperworks. He deals with all my sponsorship for this fight. And he basically runs the gym at A-Blade. So he's the face of A-Blades. There. And then Boy does all the training. So he guides us how to fight, what style we need to implement for the next fight, or what he needs us to work on for the upcoming fight, or even just anything in general. Like he wants us to get better at our right kick. He'll just force us to right kick all day, every day until we get it right. Our training, we only train at night. So we have like 3 hours at night, like similar to Thailand. If you've been to Thailand, our training is similar to that.
Yeah. So talking about the trainers there, how about talking about the team as well? Like, so the other fighters there and eight blades, because you got a pretty good roster of fighters there.
Yeah. So everyone is good at different things. We're not all good at like one thing. So if I'm fighting a southpaw, like everyone will go into southpaw for me. So we've got a few southpaws, and they'll help me with my prep. Or if someone's good at clinching, they'll help me with my clinching. So it's just like, it depends on what my game plan is, and then they'll just prep me up for that.
Yeah. So I guess one teammate in particular from there that it's like you always like, you know, seem inseparable is Somsurat. So how did you two you know, like meet and like, you know, really linked up with each other and like, you know, created like JS Muay Thai?
So we first met our old gyms. We used to be quite close, so we used to help each other prep for fights and stuff like that. And then once we got matched up for a fight, we just messaged each other and said, "Hey, we're fighting each other. I'll talk to you in a month." So when we had the fight, not sure if you knew about it, but some had a malfunction in the fight, and she would just keep kneeing me. So after that fight, we got really close, and then many years later we moved to 8 Blades together. And I guess how JS came about, we just went for a run, and we were just talking about like what we inspired to be and what our goals and our dreams, what we wanted to do in the coming future. And then for some reason, like everything that we spoke about just aligned, and from there we created JS, really.
And how long have you guys been running JS for now?
3 years.
3 years. And I guess it would have been it was in the early stages when everything sort of shifted into lockdowns. I think I remember you guys doing a lot of sort of online stuff for your members. What was that like?
Yeah, so I think we did 1 8-week course, and then we went into lockdown.
Yeah, that's how I remember that.
And we jumped online, but like I think the first couple of months it was like barely anyone jumped online. So it was maybe 1 or 2 students at most in one class. But I think after 6 months of being in lockdown, I think everyone was like, okay, this is for real now. So yeah, and then everyone started jumping on from like all over Melbourne. We had people from Canada. We had someone from the US that jumped on. So it was just one of those things that we adapted at the right time, and then people just jumped on it. So I think we grew our business, I guess, 3 times because we only did 1 course. So yeah, it was amazing to see so many faces on a Zoom call. But I think it wasn't about the Zoom call, it was about connecting with other people during the lockdown period. And we just like used to have banter and just like talk right after the training session. And I think everyone needed that during that time.
And how did sort of people around the world find out about your online training? Did you sort of market it, or was it just word of mouth on social media? How'd they end up on your Zoom calls?
I don't actually know. Maybe they followed us on our social media. We just like posted every day. So it was just like every day we'll post a little bit on our Zoom, and then we did the after class picture, and that's it. We didn't do much marketing for it. So we was quite surprised that a lot of people jumped on.
And from that, what was the shift like? Because of course, when you come back to teaching in person, you've probably not got people from Canada coming over to join the classes in person. So what was that like as being so early in the business, getting so settled into that online operating model and then coming back to in-person classes? Was it the same people that were with you on Zoom coming to see you in person? Was it sort of fresh faces?
I think it was a little bit of both. Like, yeah, because there was a lot of people from not people that were 2 hours away. They couldn't make our session, so it was like the people that were closer. Those were the ones that sort of jumped back on right away, and then just continued with us, really.
Yeah, and because it was interesting to see kind of training offerings that shifted online, and a lot of people, once things got back to in person, kind of still did the sort of hybrid thing. Do you do any online training still?
Not at the moment. No.
It's all in person again.
Yeah, all in person now.
Cool. And how do you sort of balance that side of it with training yourself? What's it like taking students alongside your own fight crew?
So basically, I base everything around my fighting. So all my training is locked in. Like, there's no negotiating. So that's my top priority. And then all my clients is always booked before it or after it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like with JS, when you like first conceived and brought it, did you have in mind the type of people that you're going to cater to? From there's it's like, oh, it's going to be like a Thai style film, or it's going to be fun fitness, or what was the concept?
To be honest, we were just ourselves. I don't know how to explain it, but we wanted a fun environment, and also like a safe environment for the girls to come and enjoy themselves and not think about, like, I guess, not being competitive or anything like that. It's like you're there for you and you're here to have fun. Like, I feel like one of my mottos for my students is like, if you're not having fun, you're not learning. So yeah,
and I guess it's a good parallel to like when you start training, like, you're the only girl there pretty much, opposed to catering to just to the ladies, and it gives them like a really good environment to not feel insecure or like just go, oh, I'm gonna look silly. Like it's a good thing that you're doing there.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so go back into your fight career a little bit more from there. Do you have like a few fights that like really hold close to your heart that you look back and you go, man, that was a wild one, or that one meant a lot to me at the end?
Curie Bradley's fight.
That was a good one.
Good one. Yeah.
That was a good fight.
That one probably is one of my favorites, and also my first fight out of the A Blades.
Yeah. Okay.
In particular, like when you're fighting Curie Bradley, who's an amazing fighter as well, when was in there, what was going through your head during the fight? Like, or like, I know it was pretty full on, like it was like constant battles from there, but like, did you feel like you were having a good grasp of like where the fight was going, or how you wanted to end?
To be honest, it was actually the first round. All I was thinking is like, I'll just be completely honest. I was thinking, oh my God, my old gym's all here. They probably want me to lose. And I think in that moment, I was like, oh my God, why did I even move to 8 Blades? Like, I did this for me. Like, I'm with a good team. And Boy just says the right things in the corner to snap you back into it. And then, it was just one of those fights that once you finish the fight, you're like, oh my God, I did it. I can't explain it, but it was just like emotional roller coaster, that fight.
And Curie, of course, sort of a mainstay of that higher level of Australian Muay Thai. Did that kind of feel like a breakout fight for you as far as like climbing into that upper echelon?
Yeah, because she had, I think, 3 times the amount of fights that I had. And it was also like one of those fights that my old gym wanted, but I knew we knew that we weren't ready. So it was like one of those things that I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a really hard fight. And now I'm at a different gym. Now, like, what can I do to win, and also like show everyone that I can do it. And it was like, and also Curie Bradley is like, she has a heart of gold.
Yeah.
If you've met her, if you've spoken to her, like, yeah, totally, like, yeah, she's amazing.
That does bring me to something I wanted to touch on, because you speak very highly of a lot of your opponents. What I've always, like, even getting into, like, starting off JS, yourself and Som are former opponents. There is, like, quite a cool little community of, that the Victorian scene has a number of really high level competitors at around about your weight. And I've always noticed from just kind of following Thai boxing that you all kind of seem to be friends, but also regular opponents. Like, it's this interesting community of, like, you are, like, to the wider Australian Muay Thai community, it's like you're a team, but locally, like, you're all fighting in amongst each other. Like, what's that dynamic like down in Victoria? Is it something like deliberate, or it's just kind of happened that way just out of respect for the opposition?
Well, Muay Thai is quite small, so there's no point of having bad blood with anyone because we're trying to grow the Muay Thai scene, like especially the female Muay Thai scene.
Yeah.
We can only lift each other up from here. So I guess if we could push each other forward, then hopefully, like, the scene will grow.
Yeah, I think you guys definitely have it right in that regard, that it does feel like, of course, a part of any combat sport is you've got to fight with each other. But it does feel like the interest as a collective is growing the Victorian Muay Thai scene overall, and just using your fights with each other as a way to spur that forward. But you've never, like, some people are a little bit wary to get too, if someone's in your weight class and you bump into them at a show, you don't really say too much, but that's never been a problem. You guys are all super friendly, or it's just not really been a problem for anyone, I guess.
I don't think it hasn't really crossed my mind, really. Yeah, no, it hasn't really crossed my mind.
And you don't mind fighting someone that you're quite friendly with? Or is it, it's a little bit of a drag? Like, what does that feel like when you get matched? Because I remember I fought on the same show. Actually, I'm pretty sure you've been on the show every single time I've been to Victoria, or close to. But I remember going down when you fought Marina, and the two of you are quite good friends.
Yeah.
Mentally, what's it like to kind of get yourself ready to fight someone that you're pretty friendly with?
I think you just switch it off. You just switch that friendly side off, and then once the bell rings, finish the fight, and then we can hug it out afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like,
I like it.
But it's quite hard though. I think it's not an easy concept to get your head around, I guess, if it's like the first time. But I think I've done it a couple of times now. So
yeah, you've done it a few times.
Yeah. So Marina was already like maybe a couple fights in before I was like, oh, okay, this is okay. It's all sport. It's no bad blood. We're just here to do what we love and then showcase what we're like, what we've been practicing the last couple of months. And then, yeah.
And do you find you're thinking about that side of it throughout the training camp, or it's just a matter of you show up on the night and it's just about switching on to compete? Like, is there a process behind getting yourself ready for that kind of a fight, or it's just like any other?
I think it's just like any other, like, yeah, it's just another fight. I sort of switch the friend side thing off until after the fight. Yeah.
Now, getting into sort of I guess I'll start with this question. How would you describe your fighting style?
Aggressive, forward. Would you say the same?
It's like I think like notice when you fight in particular, because I've watched you fight him like for a long time now. I'm a fan, and so that you have like a distinct advantage, like especially with your punching. Particular, that's like, and it seems like with like a lot of girls that like it's a good separate, like Davina Martin's the same similar as well. Like it's like the girls have like good hand strength and like also eye for it, have a lot more opportunities to like get better scores off everything else, because like if they're worrying about their hands, you can put your kicks better and your knees and that. Have you always been like a strong puncher for your whole career, or was that something you just kind of really developed in the kind of this later half of your pro career?
I don't know why, but I don't use my hands a lot in training, but it just comes out in my fights.
Gotta save those bombs, you know?
I don't know. Yeah, I can't explain it. Usually I'm more of a kicker in sparring. Yeah.
Yeah, because as you mentioned, Shane, like it does feel like it's a big separator is your punching power. And that's something that I think you've really honed in on recently. Like your last fights, of course, a really good example. You've started to really, I guess maybe it's just you've established a lot of confidence in that punching power, in that knockdown sort of ability. And is that something that like there was a point in your career where you realized like, oh, or was it something a trainer said to you at a certain time? Or was it something you called out earlier? It's just sort of developed across your fights.
It's probably just developed in the last like probably 5 fights. And then also I've been working with Ben at Combat Strength. He has been working on my strength for the last 2 years during lockdown as well.
Yep.
And I think that's what's created this like knockout power. But before that, I wasn't lifting heavy weights or anything like that. So he's definitely like increased my power, my speed, my agility and all that. So I think like after doing strength, I was like, oh, that's what's made my punches a lot harder. And also I guess the accuracy of like pad work with boy, that's caught as to like, yeah.
And this is a question I'm always interested to ask high level fighters. Where does so you're touching on like kind of, and it's a common thing we're hearing across the Muay Thai scene is people really falling in love with the strength and conditioning side of it. Where does that fit into your training camp? You do a couple of days a week with the strength stuff, or how does that work in?
We do it twice a week. Yeah, but daytime and then Muay Thai at night.
Yeah. And is that something that will your sort of strength and conditioning coach communicate with boy about what you're doing on that side of things and sort of make sure the two work together?
Yeah. They work like hand in hand together. Yeah.
Is the strength thing now like it's a year-round thing that you're doing? So even when you're not in like a fight camp, like from there, you're still kind of just doing like more generalized stuff?
Yeah, all year round. We don't stop. Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. As a strength and conditioning coach, I go, oh yes, that's
No, we're always building onto it.
Very good. A little bit of an introspective question here. As yourself, like what drives you to fight? Like, you know, you think about, like, as you said, like, you know, you didn't even know like a world title was going to happen, and just kind of just pumping out the fights from there. Like, yeah, like what drives you to do it? And then, like, you know, after you do the title and you win it, like, you know, what after that? What's the next thing to happen?
Hopefully one, if I get signed to one. But of course, I think there's still a few more girls on the scene that I can still fight. So it's like we're still just building that. Like, I don't know, building the stats, or I don't know, building, yeah.
Stand out when you mentioned there's more girls on the scene. Any particular opponents you have in mind that you'd like to fight, or?
I really wanted to fight Yolanda. She's always been an idol of mine, and she's been an inspiration to me when I first started. So it's like she's in the same weight category as me. So I've always wanted to fight her, but of course, like, we'll see if that happens. Elma and a few others on one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's a good division though.
Yeah, it's a good division.
It's a great, heaps of great fights, especially in those little gloves when you're punching. Yeah, make a difference.
Yeah. I really want to fight in the small gloves. When Chris was prepping for it, I was like so excited to put the small gloves on.
Yeah. It's so like with the fighting thing again, so what do you like about it? Is it like I don't know, the feeling it gives you, like just being in the ring, like the ups and downs between winning or losing, or is it like the training, just the train to a goal? Like what part of the fighting, like what do you like?
I think in every fight, it's never 100%. There's always something coming up, like as in like there's always a challenge that you have to face within that fight camp. and you have to like push yourself to overcome it. For example, maybe injury, maybe some family problems, maybe like, you know, financial stuff. Like there's always something going on. And then I feel like every fight camp, if you can push through that, you can do anything in life if you put your mind to it. So one of my favorite things is like when I finish a fight, I was like, oh my God, I just went through this, and I still fought. And I think that's I don't know, like it's like that fire in your belly when you win or lose, doesn't matter, but at least you put in 100% and you're like, that was fun. Let's do it again.
Yeah, nice. So, going from there. God, I just had it in my head now. I forgot it. That's okay. It's all right. We're going good so far. This is
I got one off the dome.
Yeah, go, man. I'll collect myself. Come back to me.
Okay. I suppose you, like any other high level fighter, you mentioned sort of everything's based around your training. You know, kind of, I mean, swallows your life in some way. It sort of becomes everything you. I'm sure you'd probably. So I mean, like that's my experience. It's probably pretty similar for you. Do you ever think about what you'd be doing had you never started Muay Thai? Like, because when I guess these the whole training, fighting schedule becomes such a defining part of your life. Do you ever think about where you would have ended up had you not started Muay Thai? Do you have an idea of what you'd be doing with your time otherwise?
I don't know. I'll probably be working a lot. Probably 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and just like killing my time that way. I think, like, I don't know. I would, yeah. I'm always like finding ways to fill up my time. So I would be working a couple jobs to just like make money. I'll probably be rich now if I wasn't doing
got the work ethic. You know, did you like outside of Muay Thai, did you build like any other skills like out, like, you know, vocation wise, like like Hugh saying from there, it's like, you know, Muay Thai is a huge part of your life, but did you build any other skills up in between?
So I finished like business management. So I was like planning to either go down the office work road or like maybe work in the bank or work in accounting. I don't know.
Boring.
Yeah. But also I've always like loved fitness. So it would have gone down this route anyways. Maybe not with Muay Thai, maybe just become a PT or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if like I would have gone the fitness way anyways, because I've always been like quite active when I was a kid. So yeah.
So with business management as your kind of area of study, and now of course doing JS, do you feel like you're drawing from those skills alongside your in-ring skills?
I don't think so. Because textbooks is like it's good, but like you're not using everything that you read. It's you learn on the go.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't teach you how to, you know, set up a website or like, I don't know, all the behind admin stuff that you have to do or social media.
Yeah. And that side of it is changing so rapidly that there's only so much you can really learn out of a textbook. It's different 3, 4, 5 years later.
And it's so different. Everything's on socials now. You have to have like a presence on social media to grow your business.
Yeah. Do you yourself do you brand yourself much, like to get sponsors and things like that? Do you have like some sort of like a plan that you kind of try and do,
as in like sponsors for my fights or sponsors?
Just for yourself as a fighter?
To be honest, this was the only fight that we've actually tried to get sponsors for this one. So there's a few people like Stable Massage or Apex. They're going to be jumping on to my next fight show, so they've helped a fair bit, and even some of the JS girls have like reached out to help out for this camp, and it's been such a great help because I'm not pushing for work or anything like that. I'm just focusing on my fighting and not like worrying about the next paycheck to like fun fighting, if that makes sense. I think, are you the same here? Like with your fighting, it's like it's all your money goes into Muay Thai, all your time goes into Muay Thai. On
a little bit, yeah. I mean, like,
yeah,
it's a little bit. I work a 9 to 5.
yeah.
So I'm sort of, I'm lucky that my boring stuff is very supportive of my real job of Thai boxing. So like, I'm secure in that sense, but it's the same kind of mentality in that, like, I just want to make sure, to me, being able to focus on my training is knowing that I am able to eat. So it's like knowing that, like, I'm lucky to have a work that, you know, I'm allowed to get a little bit of time off right before I fight, and I'm not kind of, there's an understanding that I've got to go and train, and that it's almost, I've been allowed to treat it like my after hours job, and everyone understands that I have to go as a point of priority, make my training work. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's like it's all about just coming up with those structures that let you focus on, because that is, I think, to me, that's the biggest potential career killer, is not being able to focus. Like, it's not, I'd love your thoughts on this too. I think when you're training, it's not just a matter of, it's not, you can't just punch the clock. It's not, did you spend 2 hours in the gym today? It's, did you show up ready to really kind of like dial in? Because there's so much going on in terms of the strategy side of it. And it sounds like, from what you described, that Boy's quite a high IQ trainer. And that's always from the outside looking in, that's always the take that I've had. And you guys always have, you're always very strong, and you always have very smart styles as well, that it's like, it's not like just go and pick this weight up and put it back down. It's like, you have to be dialed into, like, what is our plan? Like, what are we doing? What are we trying to achieve by doing it? And what are the steps to get to an end goal? You know, like, of course, some days you're like, just some days are better than others. But I mean, like, to me, the biggest thing to kind of like, once, and I guess it's getting to that professional level too, that it's like, when you show up to train, are you 100% there? You know, are you really switched on to what you're doing? Because, and you see it, you know, like I've trained with people before that are just like, you know, the trainer says throw 50 kicks, and it's just like they're just patting the pad to check the box and get on with it. But that's not what really drives you forward, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%. You have to be 100% present, and that's what Boy hones into when we're holding pads. Like, he's always making us think. He's not just holding pads for us to get the fitness, but he's like fighting the same style as our opponent, or like, so he's always making us think within the pad work. So it's like similar to fighting.
Because I guess that's the element of it that, like, one thing we've touched on this with a few fighters that we speak to, is that really, when you think about it, anyone can get fit. Like, that's actually not, it's physically hard, but it's very straightforward to get fit enough to fight. But can you get game fit? Like, get your mind fit? And that's what I think separates an elite trainer from an average one, is when they're holding pads for you, like, as we say, like, you can just go 20 kicks here, 20 kicks here, 20 kicks here. They'll get you super fit. You'll fit as after that. But will it make you smart enough?
Pride butt.
Will it prepare you for, and I mean, there's a time and a place for just hardening the fighters. But like, are you actually situationally preparing them for that? What's their opponent going to do to them? Because, you know, you can do all the high energy pad rounds in the world to get super fit, but if you just don't have an answer for what your opponent's doing to you, it's no use, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with you with that. 100%.
And on that, so of course you're putting in a lot of hard training. Do you strategize on kind of how to sort of recover? Do you do any particular recovery practice, or it's just have a Sunday off and have a nap?
That's right. That was my question.
Was that the question?
There you go. Good.
Oh my God. So
that's a strong team.
Well, the first first couple of years, I never thought anything of it. Like, with the recovery side of thing, I just like brushed it off. I'm like, haha, you know, like, I'll just like sleep it off. But I think in the last 4 years, I've been really honing into recovery, massages, like needling, cupping, whatever I need to get through the camp. Even ice baths, cold showers, cryo chambers, even the ATP chambers. I'm not sure if those work, but I tried it at least once or twice. Yeah, I'm really big on recovery and like foam rolling and massage guns and stuff like that, just to like help that extra bit, because I don't get the 8 hours in every night for training, because we're coming home quite late and then I've got early morning classes. So I try my best to take naps before training as well, just to add on to that recovery, because it's so important. And I feel like it's been a massive game changer for the last 4 or 5 fights for me. Actually, this whole year, I would say this whole year.
Yeah. So like before you did the strength conditioning and like, doing the stroke recovery plan, did you find, were you dealing with a lot of kind of niggling injuries?
Always. Yeah. Always. And I think it was like also the overload of training as well, with the running and the impact and stuff like that. Because before that, I was running 12 kilometers a day before training, and my calves were cooked before my session started. And no one really explained to me why we had to foam roll, there was nothing backing it a couple of years back. So only just recently, I think it's been, I guess, spoken about.
Yeah, it's kind of all the rage now.
Yeah, so everyone knows about it now, so it's like we're all on the same page. And the running side of things, like I think sometimes if we run like 10Ks is a bit too much for our sport. It doesn't cross over sometimes, because we're
kind of just borrowed from like traditional methodology.
Yeah, because like all the time, go run. But now, like, I think the next generation, it's like, go run to the point where it's like you've got a sweat going, and it's not like the full 10 kilometers, is like 5 kilometers, but do it a little bit faster. So it's similar to the rounds that you're doing.
Yeah, like it makes sense. Like, like give some direction of like what you're trying to achieve. But even like as we talked before, like sometimes in like even from the strength and conditioning field, it's just like that running. It's like it's not even so much you get that aerobic capacity work, but it's like it's a good time to mentally hone in as well at times. Because like it's like for me, fuck you don't catch me running, man. Unless something's chasing me, I ain't running. but for fighters, but fighters go, but you don't run. It's go, yeah, I'm a fat trainer, man. I don't have to run. But yeah, for you, you got to use it more as a mental task. You got to head into that mental edge when it sucks. You don't want to do it, but you just have to keep going through it and continue on.
And also the conditioning too. Probably the ankles and the calves probably needs it for the fight as well.
Yeah, like within reason.
Yeah.
I fight with my trainer because I run too much.
You got to do marathons.
How many kilometers do you run?
Like not that many. It's just like sometimes I'll just go on a really, really stupid one, like that no one told me to.
Don't tell me you go like 20K.
Like occasionally, not that often.
Oh
like,
my god! So you do half a marathon?
There was like 2 times I did half marathons while I was in training camp. My trainer got really angry. He didn't get that angry, but he didn't appreciate it.
Oh dear.
So last little bit on that part of it. So with the recovery stuff from there, do you have like someone that gives you a bit of guidance in that, like a physiotherapist or anything like that, or is it's really a lot? You just took it upon yourself to learn about it and kind of know your own body. Like, what do I need a cold shower today? Do I need the hot therapy? Like, there.
I think it's like, I normally just like have chats with like within our group of like my strength coach or Som or whatever. I'm like, hey, I'm feeling this. Oh, go see this person. Or it's just like an open conversation that I usually bring up, and they'll guide me in the right direction. Or like, because I've got a few friends that are like physios or osteos and stuff like that, and they'll guide me the right direction to get that help. Yeah,
nice, cool.
So let's just go just a couple questions I'd like to get your thoughts on, just sort of off the cuff. You've come such a long way in really what is in the grand scheme quite a short period of time, you know, from debut to now a world title opportunity. I'm not sure if this is something you kind of like reflect on regularly or what your sort of practice is in that regard, but what are some of the key lessons across your Thai boxing career that you would point to? Key learnings from being a professional fighter and a professional athlete.
I think personal development was one of my key things that has got me to where I am today. Like just like being more confident, especially in the ring, has played a massive factor. Like believing in yourself and manifesting. Like I don't know, Conor McGregor always says, if you can see it in your hand, if you can see it in your hand, or if you see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Yeah. Sorry, that was that's his sayings. And I always like sort of went by that. I was like, okay, if I can visualize this every night before I sleep, it's gonna happen. And I started to manifest that. And like even before the Aussie belt title fight, I was visualizing every morning, every night when I'm driving, so that's when I won the belt, I was like, oh, I got it. Like it was just like so surreal. I was like, I felt that I was already in that moment for so many weeks or months leading up to it. So it just felt
it's like you'd been there before.
Yeah. I guess, of course, with all the hard work as well with it. But of course, like I think that was one of the main things that, I really hone into.
Learning to visualize. And
believing in yourself.
How does that feel though? Like once you visualize so long and then you achieve it and you go, okay, now next. It's just onto the next thing. Or is there like a little bit of damper? Go, all right, let me just clear my head for a little bit here and then restart again.
Sometimes it sort of depends on the fight. Like for the Queensland fight, we had a week off, so we just like traveled all around Queensland and then just chilled out for a little bit, and then when we went back to training, really. So it was like a week of holiday and then back to training. So
nice. That work ethic comes up again.
Because I feel like I'm not doing anything. Like I feel bad not being at training. It's really weird. Like if I have a night off, I'm like, should I be at training? I feel like I'm letting the team down, because like if other people are prepping for fights, I should be there helping them. Like if they're there for me, I should be there for them. So it's, you want to always like build your team up. If they helped you out, you should help them out.
100%.
I find if I'm not in training, like, if it's the week after a fight and I'm just like, what do normal people do?
Yeah.
Like, you get like so used to those hours. Like, and I feel like at Sisatong, we probably have a pretty similar training structure to you guys. Like our sessions are about 3 hours. I'm like, when I'm not there, like that's just, that time doesn't exist in the day. It's just training time. So when I'm like, it's like 6 p.m. I'm like, oh, it's like, I don't get it. I'm like, what are people doing during these hours?
You feel lost, right? Yeah.
I never understand. I'm just like, okay.
They're probably like chilling, watching Netflix.
Yeah, like I just honestly don't get it. Like I just have no experience.
Me too.
Chips don't got to eat itself. So.
Or chips, yes.
Yeah. Cool. So was there anything else? No.
I guess like one I always like to ask, and it's quite a similar question to my last one, but it's always a nice one to sort of finish on is, if you, with the experience that you now have, could give one piece of advice to yourself on debut, what would it be?
I would tell little Joe that your opponent is feeling exactly the same way as you are. Because I feel like you're so worked up and you're so nervous and like you feel so like immersed in this feeling where your feelings, your partner's also feeling the same way. So taking that back is like, oh, actually, I'm okay. I don't know. Yeah. It's like
just kind of acknowledging how human that experience is. Like, I think when you are debuting and you feel really nervous, you're kind of like, it's like the end of the world. But the reality is it's just feeling what the experience is. And it is a good point that I think you have to takes a while. I think when you get really nervous for a fight, you're always gonna get this idea that the other side's just like feeling perfectly cool. Like you're just like, oh no.
They're feeling exactly the same way. And also maybe one more thing I would say is like changing the way you think about nerves. So I changed the way I said I'm nervous for a fight to I'm excited for a fight. So I say this a lot when people ask me, how are you feeling? I'm like, I'm so excited. It's exactly the same feeling. If you describe how nerves feels like and how excitement feels like, it's exactly the same thing, besides the,
I like that.
Yeah, with the negative connotation towards being nervous and being like anxious before a fight, rather than saying, oh, I'm super excited. That's so like, you know, if you have like a more positive outlook towards fighting rather than feeling like, yeah.
And I guess that kind of ties to the idea that it's like you're feeling, I think as people, we identify so much with what we feel, when in reality, that's not you, that's just an experience. And it is your choice how you interpret it. So as you say, like that can be nerves or it can be excitement. It's the interpretation is completely up to you, and kind of what you do with that energy will be a result of the interpretation.
Yep.
No, I like that. I like that a lot.
Cool. I think that's going to come towards the end of our time. Good. Thanks again for jumping on. This was really fun talk.
Looking forward to Rebellion. I'll be there. I got my ticket this week.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Exciting. It's I think it's the last one for Rebellion this year.
Yeah.
It
has to be, sure.
It's like, man, you'd be struggling to split one in December. But I do like a Christmas show.
Yeah, what a
yeah,
awesome fight. Yourself and Barbara Aguilar is an amazing match. So it would be an incredible fight on a show anywhere in the world. So we're really lucky to have it here in Australia, and Rebellion are always loaded. So there's going to be a ton of other great fights too.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones going on there. So, Joanne, so just lastly from me, where can people find you? Like Instagram, your businesses, shout outs to anyone like sponsors or friends. Like, you can do that now.
You can find me on Joanne La on Instagram and Facebook, just Joanne La, and JS Muay Thai, just JS Muay Thai, Instagram, Facebook. Sponsors Apex, Stable Massage, and Combat Osteo, and that's about it for now, I think. And also shout out to all the girls that has like from JS that has like helped me through my fight camp the last couple of months leading up to this fight, and they're also really understanding when I need my time off, and if I'm like even like if I'm like needing any time off, they just like, Joe, just take the day off, don't worry about work. But yeah, and also my business partner, I can't thank her enough. She's like my right woman. She like, because she understands the fight game more than anyone else, and she's always like picking up the slack when I'm in fight camp, so I can't thank her enough.
Awesome.
Legend.
Yeah, nice. Cool. All right, guys, thanks for listening again. So remember, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. They all got rating platforms, and you better give us 5 stars on all of those
exclusively.
That's it. Share it, subscribe, like, you know the deal. Other than that, thanks for listening to us again. We'll catch you next time. See ya. Peace.
Thank you guys.
No worries.